today's episode, I thought I'd take a little departure from the Topaz Studio 2 filters and show you my workflow for doing painterly images. This is a really cool stock image of a train, and I thought this would be a nice one to just show you some of the steps I go through to come up with a interesting painterly image. So let's get started. We start out with the base image right here, and I am using Photoshop and using Topaz Studio 2 as a plugin. So I brought this image into Topaz Studio 2 from Photoshop, and you can see right here, Photoshop image, and that's a locked layer, so you cannot alter this layer, okay? But you can add filters on top of it. First thing I did was added an abstraction filter. So let's click that on so you can see what I did. So I used an abstraction filter to get this look in the image. I just wanted to get it simplified and toned down a bit. And that's what the abstraction filter gave me. And then next I added an impression filter. So let me click this layer on. And that gave me this painterly look here on the image. And notice here on the layer mask, I took that painterly look off of the sky and a little bit off the train in the front because I wanted some more detail to be on the train and not for it to go too painterly looking. I wanted, I wanted it to look like a train and not too impressionistic, okay? So I took some of that off on that one. Let's go to the next layer. It's another impression layer, and I'm going to click that on here. And I do this a lot in my images, and that is I'll combine different types of painterly looks to one image. So on this impression layer, I used an entire different look on the image. And let me show you the before and after. And you notice I only added it up to this these hills back here and the sky itself because I wanted that to look smooth, and I didn't like the way the original painterly effect affected it up there. So I used the layer mask and I just painted it up into the sky. The first thing I did on the layer mask though was I inverted the layer mask, and then I painted with white paint on this area up here, and that revealed this impressionistic layer. Okay, so again, here's the before and here's the after. After adding the impression to my image to give it that painterly look, I thought it still looks to me a little flat and I would like the image to pop a little bit. So I decided I'm going to try the precision contrast filter and see if I can bring a little more pop into this image. So let's go to that layer. It's the next layer up, precision contrast. Let's turn it on. And as you can clearly see, it did add a nice pop to my image here. Now let me just click on precision contrast so you can see what I did. I added micro contrast, some low contrast, some medium contrast, and I pulled my high contrast back a little bit. And I was really happy with that. So let me click on this X here to get rid of that. The next thing I did was I thought, you know what? I'm going to run this into a really excellent filter by Topaz called Adjust AI. And the cool thing with Adjust AI is even though I'm using this as a Photoshop plugin and I'm now in TS2 or Topaz Studio 2, I can still come up here to filters and come to plugins. And these three plugins Topaz are allowing us to use on our images here. They're eventually going to add all the plugins, I believe, but for now they have these three plugins here. So I thought I'm going to try Adjust AI because Adjust AI is a really good filter for just bringing all the tones and details out of your image. So I thought I'm going to give that a shot and try it here. And it's all artificial intelligence, and it does a great job with just a click of a button. So I thought I'm going to try that. And that's what I did. And let me turn that on and show you the difference here. So here's the before and here's the after. Isn't that cool? It did a really, really nice job. And I just took it just the way it was. Let me click on it here. I don't think, I did pull the opacity back a little bit. It was at 100% when it came in. I just pulled it back to 0.87. And I just took a little bit of that adjustment off just to, I just thought it looked a little more natural. So there you go. All right, so let's click the X here. And now the next filter is HSL Color Tuning. Now let me click its eyeball on so you can see what I did. Notice the sky and the trees here. So I altered their colors. So let me show you the before. There's the before and there's the after. And now let me just click on the HSL Color Tuning so you can see what I did. So the areas with the gray lines under them are the colors that I've affected. Let me just click on one of them and show you. Like the orange, I adjusted its hue a little bit. I pulled its saturation back a little bit. The yellow, I changed its hue into more of the green tones. So I wanted to bring these greens of these trees out a little bit, and I upped their saturation a little bit. And the blue, I pulled the blue back. That's what darkened this whole area up in here. And also I added a little blue saturation because I wanted a little bit of that blue that was up here in the sky and on this mountain to pop through a little bit. So that's the HSL Color Tuning. Now the next filter is a basic adjustment. Let's turn that on and see what I did here, because I don't even remember. Here's the after and here's the before. Okay, I remember now. On this one, the only thing I did here was, let's click it, I just pulled the saturation back to 0.08, minus 0.08 that is. So I just took a little bit of saturation off it. That's all I did there. The next thing I did was added another precision contrast. So let's click that on and see what I did with that one. All right, so there's the before and there's the after. Okay. For a second there, I couldn't tell what I did, but now I can see it. Look at the train here and this track right here. All right, and you notice I have a layer mask here, and you can see the layer mask is painted over the train. I inverted the layer mask, okay, and then painted in the train area so that my adjustment would only go onto the train and the track. So watch when I click the eyeball here and shut it off. See how the train and the track is not quite as detailed, and now when you turn it on, it pops a little bit more. So that's what that was for. All right, on to brightness contrast. Let's click this one on and see what I did here. All right, on this one, notice this railing here on the train, and notice this part of the bridge right here and here. Let me shut that off. Notice how these are pretty light here, and this area is light, and I thought the eye was being drawn to those too much, so I wanted to de-emphasize those a bit. And so let's turn that back on and watch that. See that? So what I did was, and let me show you actually. So let's come here and click on brightness contrast. So what I did was I pulled the brightness a good ways back and pulled some of that contrast off. Then I went and added a layer mask to it, and I inverted the layer mask and then took a white brush and just painted over this line and painted over these areas here, and that just toned those down. As you can see, there's the after and there's the before. So before and after, and I thought that worked out really nice. The next step is another brightness contrast layer, and let's turn that on. And this is a special layer here for me, because what I did here was, let's open it up here, and you can see the brightness is set at 0, contrast is 0, and saturation 0. And you might say, well, Dave, you didn't do anything. But I did, and I'll show you in a second. But first off, let's click the eyeball so it shuts it off. See all the lightning in the trees? I dodged those trees so I could bring some nice detail and shape out in those trees. And the way I did that was, let's click on brightness contrast again, was, didn't touch these controls, but I just changed the blend mode to screen. Now, whenever you change to a screen blend mode, it's going to lighten everything. So what I did was lightened everything, and then I came up to the layer mask, inverted it, and just painted on the areas that I wanted to go light, and adjusted opacity. As you can see here, my opacity is down to 0.36. So I just adjusted it till I thought that looked natural. I didn't want it to look unnatural. So let me show you the before. Again, there's the before and there's the after. Just bringing out some of those light areas of the trees. And I think that really helps an image. So remember that one. This is a really nice tip. The next thing I did was add a burn layer. It's another brightness contrast layer. So let's click on it and click its eyeball so we can see there's the after and here's the before. See the dark areas start to pop into the image, and I burned these areas here. Now I did a similar thing that I did to the previous layer when I dodged it. When I burned it, let's click on brightness contrast, and you'll see this time I changed it to a multiply blend mode. All right, and I didn't touch brightness contrast or saturation. Did the same thing, inverted the layer mask, and then just with a white brush painted on the areas that I wanted to go darker, up in these foothills here, up in the sky. As you can see, just take a look all around the image. There's before and there's the after. That's a really cool thing to do. Now, here's a little tip. You can pretty much use any adjustment layer to do this, but you got to make sure it's an adjustment layer that doesn't, alter the image when you click on it. So as long as it's a layer or a filter that does not alter the image, you can use any filter and just change the blend mode, and then invert your mask and just dodge and burn with a white brush. It's just that simple. I'm going to get into a nice dodging and burning tutorial, so I'll go into this in detail. Again, today this is just a workflow tutorial, and I wanted to show you how I do some of these painterly images. All right, so the next layer we have is another brightness contrast, so let's click in on. And this one is for this smoke coming out of this engine right here. This is a diesel train, so it doesn't get a whole lot of smoke, I don't think. So let me click on the image, left click of the mouse, and you'll see here's the before. But you can see there's a little bit of smoke coming out of here. And I wanted to emphasize that a little bit. So what I did was, you can almost guess it, right? Let's click on brightness contrast. I put it in screen mode, but this time I added a little extra brightness, and I inverted the mask, and with a white brush just painted in this smoke area right here. Just that simple. Very easy, and it was no big deal. So let me just click the eyeball. There's the before, and there's the after. So I think that really helps, and I like that. It needed a little bit of smoke in there. The next thing I did was I thought the image looked like it could use a little sharpening, not a lot. So I added a Sharpen AI filter. Let's click on this eyeball here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on your computer screen, but believe me, there's a little bit of extra sharpness here. And I used, again, a most excellent filter by Topaz called Sharpen AI. It's a filter that you purchase separately, and you can come up here to filters here and go to plugins, and you can launch it right from here, Sharpen AI. It's a very simple filter to use. I'm going to do a video where I go over it in detail, but it's super easy to use, and it's super effective. I truly, truly love it. But that's Sharpen AI. The next thing I did was I thought, oh, let's give this image, it's a painting, right? Why can't we have a frame on it, right? So I thought, let's make a frame. So I used Topaz Studio, digital frame, comes right in Topaz Studio. I don't know if you know it's there, but check it out. It's great for putting stuff online when you're presenting your images on your websites or on Facebook or whatever. It's really nice. And every now and then, again, I'll use it when I remember to. So let's click on its eyeball and look at my cool frame. Topaz Studio digital frame. Great way of showing off your images and your pieces of art. Okay, now the last thing I did was add one more brightness contrast adjustment, and let me click it on. But before I do, notice this area right in here. Watch when I click it on. That little triangle thing in there goes away. I'll shut it off and show you again. Now, I could have went back into Photoshop and healed this, because right now, I don't believe Topaz Studio 2 has a healing tool yet, and I believe that's coming. But for now, they don't have it, so I figured, well, I can take care of it in here. I'm just going to use a brightness contrast layer. Let me click it on again and click it and show you. I just pulled the brightness way back and then just inverted the mask, because the picture got real super dark. Inverted the mask and just took a white brush and painted over that spot, and there's the before and there's the after. And that's it. A beautiful, I think, painting from a stock image. And, you know, I don't get out that much and take train images. And I thought, well, I'm just going to grab something online. So don't forget that. Look on stock agencies. And there's a lot of free ones out there like unsplash.com, pexels.com, and pixabay.com, just to name a few, and you can get free stock images from there, and it's really cool. I use them a lot in my tutorials and things. Well, thanks for joining me today on this Topaz Studio 2 Painterly workflow tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, let me know. And if you have any comments or suggestions or questions, please leave them in the comment section below. If you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please do so and click that bell notification icon. This way you'll be informed of all the new training videos that I have coming out, and I have a bunch planned. And also, if you liked the video today, please like and share with your friends. Click that thumbs up button. Well, thanks again for joining me on The Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly, and I'll see you all here next time.